a voice vote to approve the minutes. Mayor?
Yes.
Butch? Chief?
Yes.
David? David?
Yes.
Sorry, I can't hit
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, that's Butch, yes. David, yes. Good, we're catching up. Carol?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
Herb?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Jen?
Yes.
Liz? Gene Wall?
Yes.
Did I say Gene or Jen? I hope I said Jen. And David Singer, yes. Okay, we're I think hopefully you all got the email, but if not, the temporary fire station subcommittee still exists, but because we've gotten so far with the work, at this point in time, there's not going to be regular meetings on the Monday before the regular meeting. However, I will place the temporary fire station committee report at the top of the agenda where it stands right now. So either I'd like to hear from David and from Neil about the status of things.
All right, thanks, Dave. Dave, thanks. Just a couple maintenance things real quick.
I didn't start recording. Shit.
There you go. It's recording. All right, just a couple maintenance things, Dave, before Neil gives us the update. First, I want to thank everybody for their hard work to get us where we're at. I will probably next week, David. I wasn't prepared this week, but we do need to approve one more set of individual meeting minutes. So I'll make sure those get distributed, and we'll approve those on our next meeting for the temp meetings. And also, I just want to double check. Peter's going to take the notes for this entire meeting, right? We don't need Jen to take notes because she was taking the temporary ones. Is that correct? I just want to clarify, Peter, you're going to take the notes for the entire meeting, including the temporary stuff, right?
That's correct.
Okay, good. All right. So with that, Neil has a lot of good updates for us. So take it away, Neil. Thank you.
Thanks, David. In terms of where we are since our last meeting, the contracts for both Vanguard and New England Builders have been signed. Those went to the mayor's office, I believe, this morning and have been executed. We had a coordination meeting Monday of this week with Eversource and secured work order numbers for the temporary electric services that will be required for both the apparatus bays and the office trailers. So that's good progress in that as well. We have received preliminary floor plans and then a subsequent update to the preliminary floor plans from Vox Vanguard. Again, positive direction, positive steps. Once we get confirmed that all of the preliminary approvals are there and the city signs off, those drawings will be submitted to the state for approval, and then the modulars will be released for fabrication. We are continuing to scope and procure the additional packages, items such as fire alarm services and other related work. So that endeavor will really be ongoing over the next 30 to 60 days. We'll continue to provide updates and awards as the information becomes available. What else? We're working with Marlo and George Vandalinder and their crew in terms of their reviews and the work that the city will be performing.
Neil, excuse me. Butch, can you mute your telephone, please? We're having feedback from the car.
The host of the meeting can also mute other people.
You can mute yeah, there we go. He's all set.
Yeah.
Okay. In addition, the city has taken the steps to file a variance with the plumbing board for the type of materials used for the sanitary and waste drain and vent under the office trailers. Code requires the use of cast iron pipe, and due to the temporary nature of the work, we are requesting that they allow us to use PVC. We're hoping that we can get a hearing date sometime in early April, and that administrative item will be addressed favorably for the city. If it isn't, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. In terms of deliveries, we are still looking at late April to start the apparatus bay installation on site. They have advised that from the start of work, they will need roughly 35 days or 7 weeks to get those trailers installed, which translates to a late May finish. Vanguard is projecting a late May delivery for their trailers, which translates to a late June finish for their work. We have always suggested that we've got roughly 6 to 8 weeks worth of work to do once all of the trailers get delivered, which puts us into mid to late August for completion. We are hoping very much that we can shorten that period of time. In other words, the apparatus bays are going to come. They're two separate and distinct buildings. So we're hoping once they get the first building up and done, we can slide the city crews in right behind them and get that work started ahead of time. So perhaps when the second building is ready, all the work inside of the first building has already been completed. So we're still looking at opportunities to shorten up the schedule, and we'll do so whenever possible. I think that's all the items that I had for today. David, did I miss anything?
No, I think you covered it. We did talk about in the near future having a schedule, David, presented to the team that shows weekly progress, but there's a lot of things up in the air right now, so that will be coming in the future, just as an FYI.
Okay, anybody have any questions? I don't see any. Yeah, David and Neil, that would be great if something could be said ahead of time, even if there was something that showed a list of the steps that are going to be taken, and then we can follow along with you how things are moving along.
Sure, we can do that.
Okay, thanks. If there's no questions, okay. Oh, this is the wrong agenda. So, I'm sorry, I printed the wrong agenda. I'm having a good day here. Can't get in, wrong agenda, not recording. What's next on the agenda? We hear from everybody, right? Who do we hear from first? I think it's here from Neil, who just, is there anything beyond the temporary that, Neil, you have to tell us?
I don't want to steal Dennis's thunder. We had started soil borings and site investigation work on the Main and Coombs site. And we've also begun survey work for meets and bounds and elevation control at that location as well. We got an update from Fuss and O'Neill this afternoon that said they were able to take 16 soil borings and 3 monitoring wells over the earlier days this week. I think they were on site Monday and Wednesday. And they're expecting preliminary soil data next week. And then groundwater samples will be collected, from the monitoring wells towards the end of next week or the beginning of the following week, once the groundwater stabilizes. Dennis, I don't know if I missed anything there.
I don't believe so. I think you got it all.
I saw the email come in, but it wasn't sent to the whole committee. Is there someone who wants to take responsibility for forwarding that to the committee? What we got this afternoon? Peter, you'll do that? Do you have a group? Will that violate the open meeting law, I wonder? Should it come through Caitlin, Mayor?
Why would it? As long as people don't say reply and say, well, this stinks, or this, that, or the other thing.
All right, so Peter, forward it to the committee, please, and nobody reply, including
Yeah.
this stinks or whatever.
Yeah.
So Dave,
So,
if I could just interrupt when you're done, Mayor? Go ahead.
I'm sorry, what?
Who's
I
looking
just wanted
for,
to say, things went well on site yesterday. They don't need access to the site for at least a couple of
oh,
weeks.
Roger,
So
I'm sorry.
it's free for parking. They'll let the
Oh.
team know next time they're gonna need any vehicles off the site, but
Okay, so I gather what you're saying is testing is not done. They will be coming back.
they'll be coming back next week to monitor the 3 wells that they put in, and those are blocked off with markers so that
Yeah.
they won't park over them anyway, but
Yeah.
other than
Okay.
that, they don't need any access to the site.
Right.
So, Roger, what you're saying is that, and I read the email too, that they've come in with the big equipment and they've dug the holes that they needed to, both to
Yes.
take soil samples and to drill wells.
That's correct.
And they're testing the soil and they need to come back and monitor the wells.
That's correct.
Anything else? Anything else that we think will be happening?
Nope.
Okay, thanks. Dennis, anything you want to talk about, including, what these presentations that are coming up, again, to remind us?
All right, a couple of things. First of all, for next meeting on the 8th, we had a little pre-meeting with George Marlowe, the chief, Neil, and Adam and I and Kate, and we had CES mostly talk about the types of things that they typically talk about in one of these presentations, which is, solar, heat pumps, anything, that the city wants to do in terms of, beyond the Massachusetts stretch code, for example. Do we want LEED? Do we want well building, et cetera, et cetera? And then we heard a lot from George about specifics that do and don't work, from his experience in the city. So Derek at CES is now going to customize that based on what he heard, so that basically he's talking to you about things that do take place in the city. Good experiences, not bad. Obviously, he's going to be open for all sorts of questions. And we are going to spend quite a bit of time talking about sustainability, green, and any initiatives that the city wants to take on. So if anybody there specifically wants us to take on, certain initiatives, or at least look at certain types of things, I'm just going to throw examples, a well building, for example, let us know. We can talk about it. We can do a little research and be prepared for that. So other than that, there's really not a whole heck of a lot to report. One thing we do owe the chief is at least some verbal information on whether a little sliver of land at the bottom of the site alongside the railroad is going to do anything for the site. Will it benefit it? Will it matter? And certainly, is it going to cost you anything? And if it costs you nothing, then of course it's going to benefit the site. It makes it a little larger. If the railroad attaches a cost to it, more than $1, then we really have to think about how valuable it is. We do owe that information to the chief. Other than that, I think that's it, unless you have something.
Carol has a question.
I know, I just wanted to, Carol, did you have a question of Dennis specifically? Go ahead.
I did, actually, Dennis. I would love to be included in the discussions related to energy and sustainability, since that's my role for the city. And I didn't know there was a meeting already, but I would love to get caught up and have some input, please.
Yes, George and Marlo both mentioned that you would be interested. This was just a little pre-meeting. It was really nothing just other than to orient us. You will be included because the next one is going to be the 8th, which is this meeting. And then any additional meetings after that, we will have you on the invite list.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and anything you want or want to see or discuss, if you want to shoot us an email, you know, at least we can be prepared to talk about it.
It'd be great to get, if you have anything sketched out already, any preliminary thoughts or ideas, I can respond to that, and that would be awesome. But
All right. Mostly those preliminary thoughts and ideas are going to actually happen on the 8th.
okay,
So that's really kind of the kickoff.
I'll be there then. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. That's all from us.
Dennis, are you going to send any, is there going to be any kind of literature sent ahead of time before the next meeting?
Good question. I will find out from Derek, and if there is, I'll get it to you to disperse.
Okay, thank you. It would be good just so that people can see something a little bit ahead of time, even if it's the same thing that he puts up. I assume it's
Yeah,
a he.
very well might be a slideshow, and if there's an agenda with it, I'll
Okay,
we'll talk to him and get that out to you folks.
okay, thank you. Any questions of Dennis and his crew? Mayor, do you have anything to add?
I did have a question. I guess it's for Dennis. You mentioned the sliver by the railroad tracks. Who is going to be contacting Department of Transportation to see if they want to graciously give it to the city and to the fire department?
Well, the chief was the one that showed us the sliver, and I believe he's the one that's been in contact.
Okay,
So I am going to leave that to fire chief, and if he decides he needs to get other people involved, I'll leave that up to him as the person who's leading the charge.
okie doke, thanks.
Mayor, this is Neil. The chief and I had talked about it earlier this week.
Mhm.
I had kicked it back to Dennis to ask him if he felt like there was any benefit to proceeding. And I had told the chief that if it was determined to be beneficial to the project, that I would draft a letter for the city's signature.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, I think in just a couple of brief conversations with the chief, it would be useful just to be paved and have an extra parking space at the point in time we needed it. That's the only use that we seem to be able to derive out of it.
Yeah, and we think the same thing. It's just, you know, if there's any cost, it's pretty minor.
Yeah,
Minor cost, then I'll have to let the city decide. But, you know, it's not
Right.
going to have any kind of major impact that we can
Right.
see other than just relieve that portion of the site and give a little more turning radius, maybe another parking space or two.
yeah.
But we will look at that and lay it out. And Adam would like me to let you know that in the near future, we're going to be putting a meeting together with the chief and folks from fire department to take the program, which is now several years old, and do an update on that. So that's probably coming in the next week or two.
Okay.
All right, anybody
That's it
else?
now, David.
Okay, thanks. Anybody else? Wow, we must be in such good shape if these meetings are running so smoothly. So, Mayor, is there any reason for us to go into executive session at this point?
None that I know of, no.
Okay. Is there any other business that anybody wants to bring up?
David, the only thing I can say is if you keep having a miserable day, we have a wonderful meeting, so please keep it up.
I was sitting outside before I came in. It's just logging in. I did find my agenda, by the way, so that was a misstatement. Okay, so if that's it, then let me hear a motion to adjourn. And next meeting, I'm sorry, the next meeting will be April 8th at 4:00. It will
So
be
moved.
a meeting. Okay, so move. Is that you, the mayor?
That is me, the mayor.
And a second?
Second.
Okay, Steve, second. Okay, I'm gonna go down the roll call. Mayor,
Yes.
Butch. He's probably gone. Chief,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Amy, Herb,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Jen,
Yes.
Liz, Jean,
Yes.
David Singer, yes. Okay, we're all adjourned. Thank you very much as always, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. You too. Take care.